YouTube, welcome back. If you caught me on stream last night, you know that I completely lost my voice. I got married last week. It is what it is. We're going to roll with it. Now, today is part one of kind of really looking at loadouts. I want to start doing these, but make them more helpful for you. Understanding, builds, understanding recoil patterns. How can you be more successful? Now, this is kind of my loadout that I'm going with. The way I always frame this question is, if I was in a multi-$1,000 tournament tomorrow, what loadout am I running? And this one's it, the C58 Cold War MP5. Is it right for everybody? Probably not. Should you try it? Yes, you should. So I'm going to go ahead and break down these guns. I'm going to show some highlights from a 17 kill solo game that I had. And this way you have a little bit more information about how you can be more successful with it. As I always say, if you find the video helpful, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. And if you are looking to continue getting better at Warzone, make sure you're subscribed with that notification bell turned on so that you do not miss any videos. Let's get into the builds first. Now for the C58, we're running a pretty standard Cold War AR build here. Agency suppressor, task force, Axial Arms 3X, and a magazine. Now in this case, we're running 55 round. Do not run the fast mag. It doesn't actually give you that much benefit. Now in terms of kind of what else we can run, I would highly recommend Serpent Wrap in this case because of the ADS time. You're going to want to speed up that ADS time a little bit. This is going to help out with that. Next up, you have your Cold War MP5. Obviously, in this case, we're running, and I'll circle back to the muzzle here. We're running Tiger Team Spotlight, Raider stock for strafe speed. Again, we're running the normal drum instead of the fast mag because it really doesn't give you that much benefit. We're running Bruiser Grip. This is going to make you run super fast, essentially, and also give you that hip fire accuracy. Now, in terms of the muzzle, you can really run agency suppressor or sound suppressor. With the MP5, it's totally up to you. You do get a little bit more bullet velo and effective damage range here, but you do sacrifice the ADS speed. I still go back and forth. I think I feel a little bit more comfortable with the sound suppressor right now. It's going to give you a little bit more of that ADS speed, which is going to be super crucial. Of course, you can hip fire this, but it's really going to help out with ADS time with the quick TTK of the Cold War MP5, given the fact that you're really only using this primarily in that 0 to 10 meters. Yes, it does extend to the 15-meter range a little bit, but ideally you're going to be using this in situations in that 0 to 10 meter range where you're either hip firing or you're going to want that quick ADS time to aim down sight, at which point you can hit. Now, one thing I always do tell people is if you do go ahead and put on any blueprint with the Cold War MP5, as long as you do not have the barrel on it, then you can run with this. You can see it here. You'll see it in my gameplay. This kind of half scope. It's going to make it much easier to see your opponent. You're not going to be kind of losing people in that higher circle, that the other half of that circle essentially. So again, that's as long as you're running a blueprint on the Cold War MP5 and not running a barrel on it, which in this case with this build you're not going to be. So as long as you have a blueprint on it that's not the standard one, you should be able to get that. Now let's go into kind of talking about recoil, and then we'll jump into some highlights. Now let's take a look at the recoil pattern. So the C58, as you can see here, it's got a little bit of curve to the right, and then it basically takes off left, but it's pretty easy to control. It really stays within the frame of the body, and because of the fast TTK, it makes it super easy to control. Now, if you do get to the later rounds of your magazine, you are going to want to keep that kind of up and left recoil in mind. Now, the Cold War MP5 is a little bit interesting in the sense that if you notice here, it actually just stops. So it's straight vertical, and then it gets to a point where it just stops. So you have to keep that in mind as you're kind of engaging people, that if you do get, again, to the later round of the magazine, you don't want to overcommit to pulling down on it. Again, it's straight vertical, but as you see, it just stops. So I'm going to show you an example here. If you get caught in a weird spot where you're pulling down, this is what happens. So be really careful of that. Now let's get into some highlights. 17 kill solo game. Fortunately couldn't pull out the dub, but we're still going to roll the highlights because it was a burner. As I always say, I hope this is helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's get better today, and I'll see you tomorrow. guy. Dude, you move so fast with this gun. Okay, dude. Damn. Oh my gosh, I didn't even mean to drop shot there.